Okay. Well, I can't believe you guys are all still here after that, but I appreciate you and welcome to part three, class three, glowing color in the luminous landscape. And now what we're going to do is the best part of the class, and that is go and look at all your guys' hard work and talk a little bit about what we've learned. And let's go ahead and pop over to Padlet again. All right, welcome back to our Padlet page. I'm gonna scroll over and I'm gonna start with Lisa's beautiful moonscape there. And then we'll go to the end and come backwards. So, all right, Lisa, I can't see you, unfortunately. There you are. How are you doing, Lisa? Oops, you're muted, unfortunately. I'm gonna need you to be able to talk.
Good. Sorry.
Good. Beautiful painting. Feels, I mean, you can almost feel the form and shape of some of these waves. Yeah, tell us a little bit about it. Kind of what was some of your favorite things about this, and what did you learn, and maybe what might you do a little differently, or what might you change if you kept working on it? Not that you need to.
It's the first time that I've tried waves like that, so I was super intimidated about it, but I think they turned out okay, especially for the first time. It's cool.
Absolutely.
And trying to get some of the reflection on the or refraction on the beach. I had trouble really seeing the picture itself just because it was dark and I wasn't really sure if I was kind of on a bluff looking down or if it was kind of more level, but I decided it didn't matter. It was just going to be what it was. I think I tried your technique of brushing horizontally and vertically to try and blend the clouds, and that was super helpful.
Oh, good.
I am going to try and keep working on this. I'm proud of myself for not exactly following the original. It was close, but it's not the same. And I think the clouds look more like clouds than my clouds used to. But there are a couple shapes that are too similar. They're too pointed on the left, so I need to fix that. And then the reflection in the water, I want to fix that both on the left and the kind of center right part. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Great. Yeah, and about the reflection, so you guys can see my cursor, right?
Yeah.
So the reflection of the light is going to be generally directly beneath.
Right.
It doesn't quite.
But in the original, it wasn't. I don't think.
Okay.
Doesn't it come to the eye?
No, no, it goes straight down generally. Yeah, people do that a lot where they'll turn like a sunset, like the sun setting here, and all of a sudden the reflection goes like this. No, it generally goes straight down.
Can we see the original? Because I actually moved it to the side because it looked to me like it was not centered or not right on top, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Well,
yeah.
Maybe
it
it's just a
spreads, it
different
widens,
size.
but it, yeah.
Maybe it's a different size.
Probably that little wave that's kind of under the reflection that also kind of is reflecting and it scoots over to the right, the top,
Yeah.
the very top wave, the in there kind of scoots over maybe, and the one below it. Maybe that kind of made you think it was just the water, but it's kind of the tops of the waves, I think, picking up that
Yeah.
reflection.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah, and it is a very abstract painting, which is the good and the bad part of it. Is that, yeah, it's a weird angle. I'm literally on a second story hotel, and then this is the edge of a bluff looking quite a ways down, probably a good 20 or 30 feet down this cliff to that area. So it is kind of an abstract image. Maybe I should have done a better job explaining it. But the kind of nice thing about sometimes like where you're not quite positive is you can just try to paint what you see. You know, as far as almost abstracting it, but yeah, it's not an easy one. Yeah, and it's weird, this line of light above the horizon. The
That-
horizon,
Is that clouds?
I'm guessing it must be like a little layer of cloud. Yeah, that's weird.
Or the sky reflecting kind of haze under that cloud.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't ever zoom in enough to look at that.
Or that actually could be the horizon, and what you're seeing on the left and the right is a mist.
True.
Yeah, you're right. It could be. Yeah, I bet that could be true. Yeah, that fog's rolled into that
Mhm.
layer.
Mhm.
Yeah, interesting. So
Yeah,
definitely there's weird things about this photo, but yeah, I just like the photo because it is abstract. It is, you know, a little bit difficult. So it's just a matter of painting the values and the, you know, kind of shapes in the right spaces. And I would say, you know what, at least a 99%, you nailed it. And it, if nothing else, you've made a nice image. This being really close to the edge is a little bit, it's quite close because it kind of is a, you know, not, if it's not a focal point, it's a secondary focal point. So you could in theory move it over, but for this painting, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably just do what you've got here. Here you have a pretty pronounced horizon line. So I might take that horizon line and get rid of the little bump of light here. Just for readability, but all in all, beautiful. And yeah, I mean, great structure in here, nice soft lines up in the clouds. I think this is really nice.
well, thank you. Yeah, it was super late at night and really dark. So at some point I was like, yeah, okay, here we go. But okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you. Good feedback. I will implement that.
Yeah, nice job. The sky is beautiful. These parts of the clouds are beautiful. I like the abstract form of this rock. So, I mean, yeah, it's quite nice. I think if you wanted to do a couple little shifts, you can, but I think, you know, great job.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, we'll look color wheel. All right, so now we're gonna pop to the end and come backwards here. All right, Shauna, you hanging out here? There you are, bud.
Yes, hello.
All right, tell us kind of some of your favorite parts of this, kind of what you learned and what you might change or do differently next time.
So I just mixed the primary colors to make my dark and then change the shade of it by adding white and yellow. And I like how the water turned out, but for the clouds, because I'm using acrylics, I didn't know how to like blend it a little bit more. So I don't like that part below the moon, like kind of in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. So I'm
Yeah,
not
that
really
part's
sure
pretty strong for sure.
how to blend it.
Yeah. You just either have to mix up a pile of that color in between or value. You know what I mean? Just mix up another batch of color and you can go over the top of that now that it's a dry, especially, and create a lighter color. Do you have a mister yet? Like a spray bottle, but
Yeah.
so that really allows for quite a bit. Just give it a real fine mist, and that will allow you another minute or 2 or 3 of working time with acrylics for blending if you want to. But yeah, what you're going to do is probably just mix up something that's more in this value here and bring that however much area you want to cover with it. But yeah, your water is tons of fun. Very dynamic. There's a lot of energy and motion going on there. Yeah, great job, man. I mean, this is not easy. This is tough. And how did you find mixing darks with acrylics using primaries?
It was definitely different than I was used to, and I had to like kind of experiment, but I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, did you use black at all?
No, just red, yellow, and blue.
That's amazing because it looks so truly like a neutral gray. I mean, it's fantastic. So that
have-
in itself is a really good lesson.
I have a question. This is Gail. I'm not a acrylic painter. Just listening to you talk and looking at this, when you're an acrylic painter, you have to be much more skilled at mixing up all the tones, correct? Because if that was oil, I could just blend it and make tones all day long. With acrylic, you
Exactly.
really have to be excellent at making that full scale gray to do something like this.
Right. Yeah. So I know that Shanak has a stay wet palette. So what I would have suggested if I was there with him is make a literal grayscale of piles of paint.
Okay, that's
So
what
you'd
I
have
was.
your, black over here, your white over here, Shanak. And in between, you'd have all the different steps that you want of gray because they'll stay wet on your stay wet palette. And then you can dip into whichever one you're like, okay, this is dark, but it's, it's not a black. It's maybe like a number 6 or a number 7, depending on how many grays you mixed, and grab into that. What I would do, because I'm lazy and wouldn't just mix 10 different piles, is I would have my pile of white, my pile of black, and I would have made a gradation between them and then just dragged from that.
And
Where
that works with acrylics?
on the stay wet palette, they just stay wet on your palette, not on your canvas, not at all. But that makes sense, Shanak?
Yeah.
Because it looks like in your waves you have a huge amount of variation in lights and darks going on.
You could just, where that area that he doesn't like, in the clouds, you could try just glazing over that just a tiny little bit to pull it out a little further.
With like a whiter paint.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you could just pull it out, just tease it out. With a really, really light touch.
Yeah, and then you saw with the blue landscape where I put all the blue on it and then I just kind of dabbed at it a little bit while it was still wet, and it
Yeah.
had kind of stained and it would leave a little bit, but it, I was able to get up parts of it so it became a little more transparent. All right, and everybody should go and look at Shaunik's older work that he's
That was
sharing
great.
here. I mean, you're already doing the assignment right now that I'm talking about the contrast. I mean, you really are getting it. This is you're attracted to that contrasting colors of the really reds or oranges next to blues and greens and purples. So I'm excited to see what you do with that assignment. And you can really see that going on here.
Beautiful.
Nice job. All right. Sharon, are you still here? Or are you chasing a dog?
No, I'm here.
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I really am finding this very interesting.
Oh, I'm so glad. Great. Well, thank you for sharing some other work, and tell us a little bit about, this is from week 2 here, or week 1,
Right.
because I know you weren't able to do week 2 yet.
No,
If you want to, you can. Otherwise, you can probably combine week 2 with this week or even next week by just creating darks with your primaries and then using that to paint with. So don't worry too much. You don't need to paint that seascape or anything like that if you don't want to.
I've already
I
painted it,
prefer-
but I just couldn't get it on palette. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Oh, that's right. That you said that. Yep, no worries. So we'll take a look at that. Tell us a little bit about this. Is it 2 different times or is it one painting and the evolution of it?
The bottom one was the first when I was working on it. And the top one was when I decided it was finished.
Okay, great. Well, tell us a little bit about your favorite parts or the things that you liked most about doing this, or you learned that you're glad that you learned. And then tell us a little bit about what you might change or do differently going forward.
Well, I didn't like my trees a whole lot in the back. I've never done type of a wiping painting, and so I've always just done all my paintings with brushes and stuff like that. Excuse me. I started off really yellow, which was too yellow in the sky. And I had a hard time doing the part under the trees because to me that was kind of an oatmeal color and I just couldn't seem to get it right.
Okay.
I found with the seascape, I mixed a black. And I'll tell you, I really mixed a lot of black to get it black. Let me tell you that. Because I just couldn't seem to get it black. It was always, you know, kind of red or brown or, so I have a lot of black right now. But I've learned a lot about mixing colors. I've never really mixed colors like that. I've always, you know, I've painted right out of the tube more or less. And if I wanted a little more orange, I'd add a little red to it or whatever. I've never really made like different colors. And so I find that really interesting that I could make black. I mean, you know,
Or very dark, yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Well,
this
that's
was very
great.
black.
That's great. Well, I mean, I think this is a nice painting. And if you wanted to, you know, you can use whatever colors you want and go back in and revisit it and paint it however you would like. And you don't need to use the wiping away method either. I'm just presenting different tools to you guys that, you know, some of you will like the wipe away method. For others of you, again, I've had students with me for years who probably never revisited the wiping away method after the first time or first couple of times. Just like, that's not for me. And again, they're just tools, just different ways of working. So whatever works for you, you said, you know, you'd never done it.
No,
So, you know, it's worth experimenting with. And, you know, I think experimenting often means more than one time because the first time is just going to be nothing but uncomfortable and weird and new. So, you know, maybe try it again. But if you still think like, you know what, that's just not, it doesn't feel good to how I work, then
well,
that's fine.
what I found with the wiping away is I would get little balls of paper. Maybe I'm pressing too hard, or maybe I'm using good paper towels.
Hmm.
But I would get little balls of paper where I was wiping away, and so I'd have to clean them off, you know.
Okay, yeah, and I can see a couple of them over here. So what you want to do is constantly be changing where your finger is on the paper.
Okay,
Like you wipe away for just a little bit, and then all of a sudden you move your finger in the paper towel to a new space.
okay,
You don't want to just keep wiping away with the same area because yeah, otherwise it gums up and it gets dirty and you get some really weird effects. So yeah, just constantly and changing paper towels. I mean, it's not the most environmentally friendly way of painting because I do burn through a lot of paper towels. So you know, that's something to think about. But yeah, that's how I do it is I'll literally have, you know, a big paper towel on my finger and I'm just constantly moving my finger and looking for another kind of clean spot on the towel
okay.
every couple seconds.
Yeah, that was frustrating, the little balls, because, you know, you'd be going along and then you'd look back and it's like finding hair on your painting, you know, from.
Yeah, yeah. The good news is once it's dry, you can probably brush them off.
That's probably true.
Yeah, I
I
find
had
like
that.
removing hairs while I'm painting is really difficult, but a lot of times I just kind of let the paint tack up a little bit and then I can grab the hairs a lot easier and get rid of them if I care. But for me, the hairs and a lot of the different things that are in my painting just are part of the process. And sometimes I remove them, especially if they're in a weird spot. But a lot of times I just kind of leave them and just kind of shows that it's a real painting. It's not created by a robot. It's
If
created
you
by a
have a
man.
kneaded eraser, you can take that down to a tiny little tip on it and lift that hair right off.
Ah, there you go.
Straight pin works too, or a needle.
What's that?
A straight pin or a needle.
Ah,
Right. Yeah.
good
Yeah. A
idea.
lot of times I just grab a brush that has very few bristles on it and I can just use that as well.
I had the same problem with the paper towels and I got some of those shop towels, paper towels, and they're a lot stronger and they don't seem to,
Oh, yes, that's my
Right.
favorite kind.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
blue ones, that's what I
Yeah.
use too.
Viva used to make, I think that is it Via or Viva? I don't remember.
Viva.
They used to have the best paper towel for it, but they've changed their formulation. It's I mean, maybe it's better for cleaning countertops, but it's worse for doing wipe away. So yeah, the blue towel is the one I use now.
You know,
Sometimes
you can wash those blue towels.
what? Well, if you're an acrylic painter. Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. Nice job. All right, Sandy, let's see if I can find you on here. There you are. How you doing?
All right.
Oh man, that has got some beautiful colors.
This is pretty.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this top portion of your painting is really neat, really nice.
Those
All right,
trees are
tell me a little
gorgeous.
bit about what you got going on here, because I'm not completely convinced I know what's going on, at least in the mid section here.
Okay, so that's a cranberry marsh.
Nice.
And it's in the fall after they've already done their harvest, so it's cold out. So there's cold, the water's warm, so the white's the fog.
Okay.
It's sunset. It's not morning, it's sunset.
Okay. Yeah, I think what makes it difficult, because right here, to me, it's very obvious that it's fog. But what makes it more difficult here, I think, is the clean break.
But that's the way it is. So
Interesting.
that's where the fog was. It wasn't up front.
Interesting.
Was there a little bit of transparency so where you could see some of the trees, maybe the lower parts of the trees a little bit in the fog, or was it just pretty solid white?
Yeah, I kind of, you can see I kind of brought it up into the trees a little bit. But yeah, I can get the picture and put it up.
Yeah, that might be helpful. I'd be curious to see it because, yeah, it would be interesting if there wasn't, even if the fog was hitting this bank and not coming over into these areas at all. It'd be interesting if it was that strong right there in the transition, because that's a very crisp line, which, you know, fog normally has more like this transition line. But yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting, and I like that you're capturing something that's so interesting. I mean, it's the bottom part is almost an abstract painting, or, you know, it's just lines. It's all very horizontal, very strong. And then the top is kind of a completely different image with the soft edges and then these beautiful contrasts. I mean, your top of your painting could almost be the assignment that we're going to be doing in the next, you know, week or, you know, these next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know that's what I was thinking when you were talking about that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, paint I did just could be the next one.
There you go. Boom. Nice
But
job. Way to jump
yeah,
ahead.
here's let me, I'm almost you can go ahead and look at the other one that I did while I'm looking for the photograph.
Oh, you did both. Holy cow. I thought you did that other one in response. So really quickly about the one with the bog, was that done with the primary colors creating your darks?
Yes, the same
Wow.
one, the same one that I used for the water painting.
I don't know why it's not popping open. There we go. Beautiful darks. I mean, you've got a great variety of darks. I mean, some of these are just extremely dark. Beautiful. Nice job.
Thank you.
All right. Tell us a little bit about this guy.
About that painting.
Yes, please.
Like I was reading everybody else's comments and mine's exactly the same. The waves were really hard to do, the ocean scene and stuff. But I mean, it was a good exercise, and I painted the yellow, like, I don't know if it was supposed to be a sun or whatever in there. I was trying to make it look like the photograph, and it just did not, it was too harsh. It came out. So I just took a Q-tip and got all that yellow out and then just painted over it. It's made it more of a moonscape instead of the sun.
Yeah, it is supposed to be, it is the moon. So I
Okay.
think you got that right. I mean, I love these transitions from these earthy colors into these yellow ochres into some of the kind of, it's not green, but it feels green. Yeah, all in all, this is really nice. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like the movement of it. And I think your reflections of the light of the moon are much better than mine. Nice job there. And I love this soft edge that you created down here. Yeah, it's really nice.
I'm trying to get back on here. I can hear you. I just can't see you because I've been trying to get the other. So,
Oh, yeah, no worries.
okay. So now I'm back on. So I posted the photographs, the other one. It's up top.
Great.
I really enjoyed the way this turned out though. I was kind of amazed. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, nice job. And I think a big key of it is that you're keeping things kind of abstract. You're not thinking things too much in this area. You're thinking shapes, values, colors, and you're really kind of just, you're getting it. I think if you thought too much like, oh, I need to have a curling wave doing this, and the bubbling surf doing this. But I mean, it feels to me that how you applied it is very much just kind of shapes, values, colors, and you did a really nice job. And now we see it as waves.
I feel like you can really see a lot of depth in there. You can see the distance and all that, and the height from the wave down to where the water's receding back into the wave.
Yeah. And you want to know what's interesting is you painted it really well, this is actually a shelf. This is an old lava flow that fed into the ocean at Depot Bay. And so there's this weird, like, I don't know how tall it is, but there's a shelf right here.
Okay.
And then it flattens out and then it comes back up. And you actually captured that really well, whether you knew that or not. So it's kind of an interesting thing to look at and to watch how the waves affect, because you think they're going to come crashing into here. And if they're really big waves, they do, but the other waves will hit that shelf and kind of bubble up and then they come in. So it's kind of interesting. Nice job.
Where's that at? Where's that photo, or where was that from?
Depot Bay.
Is that in Oregon?
Yeah. It's like directly west of Salem.
Okay. So this is the photograph of the cranberry bogs. I think the color was just, I should have been more on the brown side, I think, with the cranberry bogs. I got a little too red with them, I think.
Yeah, but I think you wanted it to feel like cranberry bogs. This just feels like fields of dirt and then grass and then dirt and grass.
Yeah, and
you're not wrong. That is one strong
this isn't
right
the photograph either, because the other one had more of the weeds along the little roads here. But and then there was another where the fog is, where a road come back here, it was kind of just like a light gray. So this isn't the actual photo. So, but it's one of them in the series of at the same time. So
where are your cranberry bogs at?
They're about 5 minutes away from me.
Oh, are you in Washington?
No, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Wisconsin.
I wonder because my grandparents lived in Toma, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I know where Toma is. Yeah, Wisconsin used to be the dairy state, but then California beat us with that. But now we're the #1 cranberry state and #1 cheese.
There's a lot of sunflower fields up there too for sunflower oil.
No, I didn't know that. I haven't really seen any of those.
Those are incredible because it's, as far as you can see, it's sunflowers in there, and the flowers are about as big as garbage can lids, and they all move at the same time.
So
I've only ever seen the cranberry bogs in New England, and I've never seen them in long straight lines like this.
Really? No,
That's
they
all
have,
I've ever
they
seen.
have all beds. They're all the exact same
Mhm.
length and width, and
Mhm.
these people must own like 800 to 1,000 acres. Um, it's just huge. And then,
Mhm.
Michael, if you go down to that painting that I have, drop off, remember from the last class?
Okay.
That's directly across from it, and they own that part too.
All right. Well, first I want to talk about this. So
Okay.
two things. First one is I apologize and I stand corrected. It is a very interestingly strong contrast between this and that.
Mhm.
So good job. The second thing is that to me, this is a bit of an example of an interesting photo that makes a strange painting.
Yeah, it's the reason that the fog is like that is just because of the weather temperature, the temperature, the bogs, the water or the ground is warmer and the air is colder, so it's
lifting, yeah.
just, and it's in a
And
lower area.
there must be more water beyond this berm here.
I don't know, but yeah, it's just because the fog just, I don't know, it just picks up in different spots.
So yeah, I guess what I would say, and take this with a complete grain of salt, is that I probably wouldn't paint this. I would paint the top of it, but this is so strange to me.
Yeah, because you're not used to cranberry
Yeah,
bogs.
exactly. So it becomes regional.
That's
So,
why that's why in the title of it, I put what it was, so
there
that
you go.
you
Smart.
know.
Yeah, because I've got some students who paint their scenery in Washington, and the weather effects along the peninsula there, the Olympic Peninsula, are strange. They do these really weird inversions and stuff, and they
Mhm.
make really interesting photos. But in paintings, unless you're regional to them, they look kind of odd. Like this truly looks like two paintings. Like this is a painting and this is a painting. So I'm constantly trying to be aware of that in my own work. But yeah, if you were, showing this locally and selling it locally, I'm guessing, people would eat it up. Just, they would go, yep, I've seen that. That's what happens. You get this weird inversion, and these bogs are, for whatever reason, this effect is happening. So that's a lot of, I do caution students, or I actually don't caution. I ask that students are aware that sometimes really interesting photos don't make the best paintings because they're odd. I've a lot of times I'll have students painting like the craziest trees that should have fallen over. It looks like they're defying gravity. Maybe that, they're really odd or really weird effects. Here in Oregon, we have Mount Hood, and it gets this weird cloud cover that literally looks like a UFO sitting on the top. It's like a perfect little dome with a flat bottom, and it's
Killer.
right on the top of the mountain. And
It's like it got a
I can't
hat.
tell you how many students have wanted to paint that, and I always say go ahead, but unless you've lived here and know that, it just looks like a weird mountain with a hat on top, or a ghost, or it looks really strange. So I, in some cases, I say I would rather you show the photo to people and maybe paint something different. But again, that's not a rule. That's not a, there's no yes or no to that. That's just something that I think about in my paintings. But I'm also selling nationally and internationally. Like my audience is, different. I have to think of kind of the universal image. Whereas if, you're painting fully regionally, and yeah, I mean, it's a really nicely done painting. You did a great job. I love your darks, love your transitions. I love a lot of what you've done here. So nice job. And what was the other, this one?
No, drop off. there.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. So that was
That's directly across the street, so they need to have water to, so to flood their cranberry
Bogs, yeah.
bogs when they harvest, and also for just for watering and stuff. So this is one of their ponds. And so, and do you remember that painting I did with the swans? I think it was your first class.
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember? That was, okay, you see this little road here on the left? Yep. So there's another pond on right across from it. So that's where the swans were, the ones that I painted with the swans. So they have three ponds. One's they left go and it's kind of dried up. But then across the street is the cranberry bogs. And then back here where these trees are, there's actually a shed, but I didn't paint it in there. But way back behind the trees, they have another cranberry bog back there. They must have like 900 acres.
Amazing.
And come to find out, a girl that I went to school with, her and her husband own it.
Ah, well, that's pretty. Yeah, because this was another example. I was literally thinking about this painting when we were talking about the other one, because this one has that interesting line right
Mhm.
there, and then you had it's smooth water and then rougher water, and that's like a little step of like or a
Right.
yeah, and so it makes this interesting illusion. Yeah, so that's another one where it's tough for me, but I think that in some ways you're a really good painter in that you're kind of hinting towards a journalistic side of painting. You're painting what you're seeing, and you're kind of capturing this interesting local thing.
Yeah.
And that's
I
really
mean,
neat.
the reflection just floored me when I saw it, because when I first saw it in the photograph that I took, I was like, oh my God, that's like just like a drop off there. I was like, wow.
Yeah, but to me and the viewer, it's kind of interesting. Like, why is there a line here? Why does the cloud effect here look different than the cloud effect here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's interesting.
there's waves there and below there's no, it's just like sheet glass.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So, anyways, yeah, I mean,
Oh, and then that one painting that I did with the boom trucks. Remember? I don't know if you remember that. You said that it was too busy. Remember the boom trucks that I did? It was a plein air painting. That was across the street where the cranberry marshes were.
there you go. So yeah, I think I talk about that, like about being a journalistic painter versus being a poetic painter. And yeah, I think that to a large degree, you lean towards the journalistic side,
Mhm.
which is great. And I think you will learn so much, and you are learning so much. I can already tell about, replication and figuring out the colors and the values and everything else. So yeah, and then you find it makes them interesting, and yeah, it's different than I would approach it, but that's not good or bad. That's individual, and that's great. I appreciate that about your work.
And with the other painting that we're supposed to do, the one with the ocean, the dark colors. When I was trying to figure out how to make that yellow of the moon or sun or whatever it was supposed to be, to try to make it not so yellow. First I tried I tried white, and I go, no, that's not right. And then I tried orange, and I go, oh, that's not right. And then I remembered, oh, purple and yellow, and that just didn't dull it down enough. So I was like, ugh. So I just wiped every little bit of the yellow out, and then we repainted it over it. So I
It's
don't know, if
weird
is
seeing
there a
that.
way to get the yellow to look like it was in the photograph?
I hope so. Um, yeah, it may be a matter of glazing it in lightly. It may be a matter of, I mean, And again, I'm just using a crappy iPhone trying to capture a night scene. It's not, gonna
Or
get the
maybe
best
I'm not, or
effects. So
maybe
it
I'm
doesn't.
not seeing right. Maybe it's not yellow, maybe it's more orange or
Yeah, it's
peachy
definitely
color.
not yellow. Woo, that's bright. Give me a headache. But yeah, there's a little bit of a yellow, then it goes to red. Yeah, it's, and again, it's the camera just trying its hardest, and this is coming through some light cloud cover, so it's all dispersed. I mean, it's a weird image again, so I don't mind what you have. I think it looks pretty great. It works. And how I see yours is that it's behind the clouds, but the light is coming down, you know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
not as vibrant. It's not giving me a headache like zooming in on the other one did. Nice job, Sandy.
All right, thank you.
And I appreciate the fact that you're coming at this differently than I would. Like, you know what I mean? I love seeing just different ways that people are approaching the subject matter, and yeah, it's really nice. All right. Who do we got? Sandy, there you are. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. How's Hawaii these days?
And Hawaii's beautiful. It's
Good.
big wave. The waves are huge right now.
Good. So as soon as this is done, you're going to go out and catch some big curls and.
No, actually, I'm going to go paint.
Okay, good. Well, we'll try to get you out of here in a reasonable amount of time. I guess it's still morning there, huh? It's only 10
Oh yeah.
9:30.
It is 11 o'clock.
Oh, 11. All right, great. All right, well, tell me a little bit about what you enjoyed about this. It looks like you did primarily a wipe away method with this one. Did you like that? Did you enjoy it? Did you learn? And what would you do differently or change going forward?
I thought it was hard. I've never done. It's interesting because when I was doing watercolor, I would do that, and I didn't even occur to me to try it with oils. So that was interesting. I found the board I was using hadn't been, it's just something I bought at the Ace Hardware, and I hadn't treated it because I didn't have any gesso. So it was hard to remove the paint.
Yeah.
So that was a little frustrating. I tried using mineral spirits on a Q-tip. That helped a little bit.
Okay.
So I couldn't get it wasn't as white as I wanted it to be. And I thought, when I get the gesso, I'll go back and do it. But I didn't. I went out and painted something else. But
Good.
I used the Q-tip a lot on the cloud, and I kind of liked the effect. It was much better than just using the paper towel.
Oh, good.
So what I learned was that you have to really experiment when you're learning something new.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, you can set this painting aside and just say, okay, that was a fun first attempt. What did I learn? I learned that, I either want more primer on the canvas, gesso, or whatever it is. And your Ace Hardware sells canvas panels.
Yeah, it's the art store.
Awesome. Yeah, to me right now, this looks like an underpainting. It looks like kind of where you're designing it, you're establishing your values, and then I would feel free to literally come back and paint with paint on top of this because you've established so much. You've got your structure, you've got your design, you've got your value structures beginning to get laid in. Otherwise, I would just set this aside and say, you know what? I learned a lot from it. Great job. I wouldn't gesso over the top of this though, because you can't or you shouldn't. If this is oils, you shouldn't gesso.
Oh no, I wasn't thinking of that. It was a different panel. I've done it. I have gotten panels and gessoed them so that I could do something better.
Oh, good. Well, great. Well, I would say that this was a fantastic learn, and it really is quite nice. But if I squint my eyes at it, it's really nice. Like when I open my eyes, you see all the weird texture of the canvas, and it looks very thin. And so if you want to revisit this painting, like if it's worth it to you or it's interesting to you, I would just suggest, putting paint on now. Because you've got your design and your values established. Now you can come in and, literally put on thicker paint and have fun with that. Anyways, yeah, that would be what I would suggest with this, but nice job. And you got anything else? You want to talk about that guy at all, or?
Oh, I could talk about that. I have to make myself disappear to see it. Okay, so on this is the first painting. Well, this is the first painting I've done just using a limited palette. I've always had a ton of colors out on my palette. And to tell you the truth, at first I was very frustrated and I was like, oh no, I want my colors back.
Yeah,
But
I get that.
as time went on, I was like, you know what? This is a lot easier because I don't have a choice. I have to do it this way. So I ended up enjoying having a limited palette.
Good. Yeah. And you'll be able to find that you'll be able to remix colors or get close to them. And yeah, you'll be able to bend those colors more.
Mm-hmm. So, and it was the first time I've used the wipe away method. So I thought it was a fun painting at the end.
Good. I'm so glad. And yeah, I mean, I can see a lot of potential in here. It does look like, kind of a first attempt at a couple things, but that's great. That's what I want. I want you to be trying new things. I want you to be, and you're going to be uncomfortable. I mean, I take classes and workshops from other instructors, at least one a year, and I'm always out of my comfort zone. I'm always, trying what they're suggesting, and part of me wants them to like me and be impressed. So I'm like, no, I need to go back to what I know and what I'm comfortable with. But the truth is, we take these classes, we take these workshops to learn, to try new things. Whether or not we, learn it and like it and use it is a whole nother thing. But I'm really proud of you for trying and experimenting. And I'll be very curious going forward, not maybe now, but towards the end of class, what you think, and if there's some of these techniques or some of these things, or maybe you do set some of your colors aside and you use a limited palette of some sort, because you will find, especially like if you just said you're going to go out and paint, like when you go out plein air painting, it's so much easier to pack 4 to 6 to 7 tubes of paint than it is to pack, your whole studio.
Well, that's true. That most of the time I'm painting out of a car, so it's not that hard. And I did another painting, maybe I'll put it up. I painted a wave. I used a limited palette, but I added the phthalo green because I loved that color as in the ocean. So I thought I'll put it up so you can see it. But it was really fun to do that.
Yeah. And again, like if I was, painting in Hawaii or down along the Mediterranean or something, there's a good chance I would throw in, some kind of a bluey green that, suits there. If I was painting in the desert for a long time, for a while, I'd probably pull out a yellow ochre or something, right? So there's no reason not to have those colors, but I just want you to realize that you can make a lot of them, but yeah, you cannot make phthalo green is just such a individual color. Phthalo blue is also, you can't mix it. You can't mix a phthalo green. Believe me, I've tried. So yeah, if you want it, or if it's going to make your painting more dynamic, use it. What I might do is get rid of one of the other colors. Maybe I would have that as one of my blues. I would have my phthalo green instead of my manganese blue or something, or just have another color. I mean, I very often have my, split primary palette and a guest color or two on there. So yeah, great. Nicely done. All right.
Thanks.
Regini. Holy cow, nice. Oh, it's tiny. Oh no. Let's see if I can download it and get it to be bigger here. I want you to go to my desktop. Where's my desktop? Let's see if we can pull it up from here. Give me 1 second and I'll see if I can, so we can zoom in on it. All right, there we go. So I can do that. Now I can zoom in. All right. Very cool. Tell us a little bit about your experience with this painting.
Yeah, initially I tried with to do with transparent colors, but my ultramarine blue color was over, so I couldn't do it. Then I just wiped it out and then painted with blue and white and some dark colors. I think I should have. I didn't do it well. I might have to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I really like. I mean, when it was little, I was very, it looks great. Coming up, I mean, I love your transitions, your soft brush work. Your penumbra around the sun, if that's the right word, is really nice and convincing. Some of these bright areas on the clouds, I think what you're trying to do is the light behind the dark clouds, but it actually feels like the light catching the sides of the clouds, which is totally fine, but not positive what you were trying there. My big thing, if I was to give you quick advice, is that your horizon line is really crooked.
Yeah, I know. I know. I realized that, but it was too late to correct anything, so I just didn't do any. But
There
I
you go.
will do it again. But now I know what mistakes I did.
Perfect. Perfect. I mean, there's so much nice stuff going on here, and thank you for doing it. And yeah, I mean, some beautiful soft edges. Yeah, nice job.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
It is, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and then this is what you were, I don't know why they're loading up so tiny.
I know.
I'm gonna do the same thing again real quick. Yeah, so this is what you were working on during
Yeah,
the
like the last
group.
Thursday.
I'm sorry?
Last Thursday when we had this painting class.
Yeah. We talked about Don Bishop, and yeah, it looks like you've straightened out your reflection a lot. Really nice, great tree shapes, great transitions.
I like the
love
sky
these.
holes.
Yeah, one of my favorite color palettes. I love those earthy, warm browns and golds. Yeah, tell us a little bit about this painting here. I was just saying, tell us a little bit about this painting.
So I just saw this on the Pinterest and I liked it. I was thinking of putting the colors afterwards, but I wanted to ask you your opinion. Does this look like that nice, or it is better to put colors on the top of it?
It's a tough one because I love this color palette, and I mean, I love warm sepia colors, so I think it's really nice. You can always let it sit for a little while
Okay.
and decide. I think it's quite nice. I think there's a nice romanticism to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about the dark right along the light.
That is that too long? That sun reflection?
I mean, it does sometimes do that. I mean, you said you have a reference that you're looking at, right?
Yeah.
So I would kind of look back at that, but it's the dark on the outside. It goes light, dark, light, light, dark, light, and I'm not positive. that's, usually what happens in reflections. Usually reflections, it's light and then I think you may be mixing up color is it a color reference that you're looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be mistaking these darks as the color.
Oh,
So
okay.
it could be like white and then yellow and then orange and going out. Yeah, that part looks a little bit off to me, but I mean, again, I don't know the reference.
Yeah, I should have put that reference.
Yeah, I just don't know why it would look like that, but that doesn't mean I'm I'm right.
No, I will check it again and correct it.
Yeah, just have a peek at it while you're thinking about that and decide if it's doing that. I'm trying to look up some references of, kind of the sunset and that long band, but I'm not finding anything real quickly. So yeah, if you don't mind, maybe throw the reference on there if you can.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at references. This is one that's off of Pinterest. Yeah, I mean, like there it is, but that's a diffused light. It's got clouds in front of it, so it's really soft and it doesn't really have much of a reflection coming down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one of my photos. So this is
Wow.
a lot higher coming down.
That one has a straighter.
Yeah. So anyways, I would investigate that. I'm
Yeah.
curious about it. I can't say if it's right or if it's wrong or, one way or the other, but I'm curious about it.
Yeah, I will look into it and put the photo, the reference.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I'm still kind of looking to see if I have any obvious references in my little deck here of pictures, but I don't, that would match that effect. But all in all, very nice painting. I think it really has a nice feel to it, and definitely has a tonalist feeling to it. If you're not sure if you want to add color, don't add color. Set it
Okay.
aside and start the next one, and then you can always come back to it a year later or 2 years later. If you don't sell it. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of them where I just don't know exactly what to do next, or
Mhm.
if I should do anything next, and I just stop painting before I get myself in trouble.
Okay.
Before I kind of have a good sense of it. Great.
This is the reference, and
That's
uh,
the reference. Okay.
my painting will be on the top. Yeah.
Whew, nice job. Super
I
teeny.
don't.
So yeah,
It
when you
reminds
load
me
them,
of
try
one
to
of
load them a little higher resolution, maybe if you can. Because yeah, I don't know why their ears are looking so
I
tiny.
don't know why I took pictures on my phone and
Yeah, I don't know.
Her reference for that one has a pretty strong line to it.
Up above it does, but yeah, it disperses down below. Yeah, beautiful. Your sky is fantastic. I love the nice diffuse reflections, nice transitions. Yeah, and it was interesting when I was looking at it when it was in progress, how blue and cold you had
yeah.
drawn all this in, but you've come back over and really it's nice and convincing.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys, I need to leave. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Great seeing you, Sharon. We'll see you.
Tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
Mm.
All right.
good
Well,
day,
I'm
y'all.
actually gonna have to leave here in a little bit. So yeah, we're kind of over time. So I apologize again. did we get all the way back to where people were last week, or do we have a whole middle section that we haven't even talked to any paintings about yet?
Well, you
Anybody
haven't done
remember
mine, but
last week?
it
What's
can
that?
wait. You haven't done mine, but it can wait.
Can we talk about it tomorrow, Michelle?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you
Anyways.
haven't done mine either.
Who's that? Gail?
You haven't done mine either, but we can do it tomorrow.
Neither
Okay.
have you spoke to mine. And not mine.
Well, I know I haven't talked to a lot of people, but I'm wondering if I talked to people that I haven't talked to last week. Because there's too many people to go over every week unless that's what we want to do. But anyways, nice job, Michelle. We'll talk about it. Yeah, show up tomorrow if you get a chance. And so Gail, we didn't talk about you the week before either.
Mm-mm.
Oh man, I'm so sorry, you guys. So anybody that I've missed both weeks, I really do apologize. Yeah, we're almost a full hour over here and I gotta get out of here. Great job, everybody, though. And yeah, know that I'm not picking on anybody, but just a matter of how much beautiful work you guys are doing and sharing. And I'm so happy to see so many comments. Wow. You guys are fantastic about getting in there and talking to each other. And if not, what I can also do, Michelle and everybody in the middle that I haven't had a chance to talk to at all, Nyla, Michelle, Linda, Gail, and Donna. Did we talk about yours last week?
Donna's gone.
That's who left. Okay. So I think we talked about hers last week. But what I can do is make a point to get in and actually leave a more thoughtful, longer comment. Otherwise, yeah. Great. Well, and I definitely want to hear from you guys about what your thoughts and everything are on this. And Linda, very fun new stuff you're doing. I appreciate that. But yeah, sorry. 4 hours is pretty good here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop over to, oops, not stop, pop over to our other view. And say that the homework this week is however you want to do to set up something for your for doing the split primary, the split complementary colors, whatever you want to do. If you want to do a little quick landscape, if you want to do just a little color chart, if you want to do little tiny landscapes. And then what we're going to do the following week is do a landscape painting using that, what we've learned. So if you feel like, okay, I've done these quick little studies, they only took me a little bit of time, I just did some color splashes or whatever, and you want to get started, I think you guys all understand what the point of it is, and you've seen the examples. So if for anybody that wants to get started on the next assignment, you surely can, if you'd like to spend a little more time doing it. That makes sense, everybody? I see a lot of like contemplative looks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, there I am. All right, great. So let's go ahead and part ways now.
Thank you.
Wife
Thank
is going to
you.
be yelling up at me here in a second if I don't get out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
everyone.
guys. I appreciate it. And thanks for being empathetic to my struggles of my demo. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Otherwise, next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Have fun out there painting, Sandy. I'm jealous. And Gail, I apologize. Oh, she's gone. All right, you guys. Take care, everybody. Nice work.
Bye.